to manage your budget. And of course, we don't want to sell cigarettes to minors. That's not our plan either. The reality of it is that until it's illegal, people are going to buy cigarettes. They're just going to go other places. So what happened in Wisconsin, the reason for that is people went across the border to the bordering cities and purchased product. There's also a black market. And in the Dakotas, their price is only 44 cents per pack. And they do not require a cigarette stamp. So that would flood the Minnesota markets with black market cigarettes. As a retailer, we can't respond to that, and we can't compete with that. So, you know, my problem is with our employees, certainly with our children, but with our livelihoods. I guess I would just urge you to not raise the tax $1.50, and to look at the tobacco tax as well. The chart will show all of those states, and it will also show where we stand with the taxing on all of those products. The cigarette tax is such a regressive tax, and it really does tax the poor. That's really what's hitting. And it's not going to stop people from smoking. They just find other ways to buy tobacco. That's the problem and the reality. And so we have to start looking at that. So I ask you to consider that. And I would ask you this question, sorry. If you didn't have that revenue from tobacco and cigarettes, what would your budget look like?
Well, it's what was it, 320 million estimated initially? 365 million is estimated. I think your cautionary note, looking at other states falling short, is very well taken, and that's why I'm glad we have commissioner revenue here. Look at that. But the purpose of my purpose in doing this, and I was talked into it by our Commissioner of Health and others, and is not for raising revenue, it's for deterring young people. I believe it's over 20% of our young people reach the age of 18 are smoking. And encourage people who are smoking, and I used to smoke for much younger days, and I quit after 8 years, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, so I'm well aware of how difficult it is to overcome that, but it's possible. And you know, it's not a perfect measure. You know, if we do something that we think is in the best public interest, and put that into state law, and it creates, as you say, a black market. If people then are going to take advantage of that and are operating illegally, I just hope that we have the law enforcement capabilities locally and statewide to catch them and to penalize them for doing so, because there's just no place for that. You know, if it's got a public purpose, if people don't think it's a good public purpose, then they can change the law through the legislative process, and that's the responsibility of being a responsible citizen. So I have no sympathy for that kind of behavior, but on the other hand, I don't think we can let that dictate the kind of laws we make that we think are in the public interest.
Governor, I have a question from St. Louis County Commissioner Nelson.
Yes. When are you bringing the statue down?
Governor,
when are you bringing the statue down?
we are bringing, Governor, first of all, I should thank you for that. I plan on doing that along with the Iron Range Veterans Committee. You know, this might be the announcement for that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to let you do that.
No, we'll wait till then. We'll let it pass by.
It's an honor to that you're willing to accept that maquette of the Iron Range Veterans Memorial, really for display for the people of Minnesota. So, thank you for that, Governor. First of all, it was just 7 or 8 short months ago that you sat in this same room, and while I chaired the board, you led a bipartisan effort, both from your office and in the state legislature. The clouds opened up on June 20th. When they finally left our area, they had washed the better part of 140 roads into the St. Louis River and into Lake Superior. Today, St. Louis County only has 2 roads left closed. The dollars that you provided made a huge difference here, and on behalf of Commissioner Dahlberg, who's the current chair of the St. Louis County Board, Commissioner Forsman, the chair of transportation here in St. Louis County, we all want to thank you. That effort, we could not have made the progress we've made without that bipartisan effort and your leadership, Governor.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. But, you know, I didn't provide that money. The people in Minnesota provided that money, and through the goodness of their hearts, as we did in southeastern Minnesota previously, and did up in the Red River Valley with the flooding there. And you know, as you say, it was bipartisan. I mean, the very next couple of days, the Republican leaders in the legislature, the DFL leaders, you know, came up and everybody pledged their support. We had a special session. We had complete agreement. And no other bills would be considered. Everybody followed that agreement, and we got it done as expeditiously as possible. And congratulations to you for putting the money to good use. But when there's that kind of crisis or tragedy, you know, we're not Republicans or Democrats, we're Minnesotans. And that's the way it should be. Thank you.
Governor, if I could ask my question, and I apologize, got derailed by his comment about the Veterans Memorial. Governor, the one concern that I do have is in St. Louis County, it is true that we have nearly 3,000 miles of roads, nearly 1,000 bridge structures. I just want to make this statement. We do not need to study the transportation needs in the state of Minnesota any further. We can study those on our way home tonight. And I really hope that you can lead another effort at the state legislature to put more resources into that investment in this state and in the infrastructure that keeps this state moving. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And you know, I mean, we are seriously behind. Again, 20 years of not stepping up to the plate, and we're seriously behind. And you know, we had a task force last year that said we need $12 billion additional over the next 20 years just to keep us where we are. And I think it's about double that to improve the system. And as you say, the consequences if we don't, the bridge is falling down. People maimed or killed is unthinkable. But we needed to come up with a big solution. We don't need to study the problem anymore. We need to study how we're going to pay for the problem, solving the problem. And that's what Commissioner Zelli, and I'm going to ask him to follow the footsteps of Commissioner France, who had 150 meetings all over the state on tax reform, and we've seen how successful that was. So, just kidding. Heroic effort. And Wayne Gretzky said once, you never score a goal on 100% of the shots you don't take. So I believe if you think it's the right thing to do it, and sometimes you're successful, sometimes not. But that will be one I want, after we come up with a formulation, is then Commissioner Zelli and myself going around the state this next summer and fall and trying to convince people that this is a worthwhile, the right kind of investment to make.
Hello, I'm a manufacturer in Duluth, and beginning part of the year, the Northwestern Lumbermen Association has trade shows in different states that we travel to get new dealers selling our products. And traveling Iowa, Nebraska, the Dakotas, it's pretty common that businesses are doing way better than we're doing here in Minnesota. A lot of them up 20, 30%. A lot of them have a lot less state taxes. Their business taxes are lower. I've had people in the Dakotas say, why don't you move your manufacturing here? You pay hardly any taxes, and we give you incentives, low interest loans, everything else. Seems to be the common occurrence is if you don't penalize business, they hire more people and raise more revenue, and those states are doing very well. So when you're planning your budget, if you can try not to pick on businesses so they can hire more people and bring in more money in the coffers and spend it correctly, I think the common thing has been said. A balanced approach would be a balanced budget. Thank you.
Well, this debate's been going on since I started in state government 36 years ago. It was a healthy debate, but the facts don't support. I don't question your numbers in terms of the percent increase for certain businesses in the last year, but overall, for 2012, Minnesota ranked 15th best among the states in number of new jobs created, and South Dakota ranked 42nd. Iowa ranked, South Dakota ranked 44th, Wisconsin ranked 42nd, North Dakota ranked #1, and they got a whole different situation now with the oil and gas, and it's a separate matter. But In terms of per capita incomes, you know, again, North Dakota, South Dakota is far below, but over $10,000 per person below Minnesota in the standard of living that the combination of laws and requirements we have here provides for our citizens. And I think that makes for a better state, a healthier state. It does raise your cost of doing business compared to South Dakota. We also have the best, still one of the really good education systems, even better if we had actually funded this officially. South Dakota ranks like 48th and North Dakota 49th. The last time I looked at the number of the teachers per student. So I mean, they're trade-offs. I mean, they've chosen one path, we've chosen another. I think we come out ahead. But I'm sensitive to the fact that thank you for the job you provide here. Thank you for being willing to be in Minnesota and pay Minnesota taxes to create the society that we have. And you can hear tonight the needs that are still unmet. But we're very appreciative of that. And I don't want to put anybody out of business or force anyone out of the state. We're just trying to again balance all the needs that are there. Thank you.